your Fusion Haa.
That's
dumb. Yeah, I heard complaints about
dumb.
that. It gets
that is dumb.
Cause man, like, oh my god,
I do not approve.
I hate that shit too, and it's like, bro, it's today's times is just too much for me right now, dog. Like, it was cool. How's it cool in the 90s and the early 2000s, but it was like 2024, 2025?
Well, no.
Everybody all of a sudden, like, this is like they're scared now.
So
like,
no, there's a difference. So just because something was good at one point doesn't mean it's gonna always be good. Doesn't mean it was always the right thing.
But nobody complained then.
Because times were different.
But nobody complained.
Because
I can see if they complained and they ignored it. That's one thing. But nobody said nothing. Not one man, not one woman. Times are different now.
Well, that's possible. Because we didn't really know, because you didn't have social media like we have now either.
No, because hold up. Why do we have game ratings, Chad?
Okay, I understand.
Because of a politician, but because it was complaining. And like, somebody bought a game for their son. Go look at Game Historian.
Yeah.
Shout out to Game Historian.
Yeah, I know.
And then politician, and they push all this shit because of Mortal Kombat, and which Sega already had their own game system, grades, but Nintendo like, I don't want to do it if they did it. I want to do it a certain way. So they have to do that. But if but see, that's what the whole point of that is. It's like, okay, this is gonna have this type of stuff in there. That's the problem now. It's like, Americans, I know we're supposed to be talking about Capcom, but it's pissing me off about Americans. It's like, even Japanese video game producers, like, I can't stand making games for them because you got the religious aspect, then you got other shit like feminism and all this other bullshit that's going, and just they nitpick every little fucking thing. And how can I make art? You're censoring art constantly because you don't like it, or it ain't doing nothing that's demoralizing, immoral, or nothing.
My whole thing is, if you don't like it, you ain't gotta play it. Just leave it alone. You don't. If this game cover and this game, this character block, when you select this character, if that picture insults you, it makes you feel a certain way, you ain't gotta play it.
Okay, but I'll say, well, destroy Michelangelo David. If that is that serious. But that's the thing I'm trying to tell you. Like, he got his Johnson right there in front of you. Yeah, so it's like, okay, you might as well do that then. And that was a long time ago. And that was before, that was, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. We keep doing this. We're just going to destroy everything at this rate. I know we're supposed to be talking about Capcom, but that bothers me. That, like, that's what goes on in video games to this day. The love is gone in some aspects because of, like, either it's the consumer or the publisher. Because even with the publishers, they always try to put their social and, what they call that shit, political agendas in that shit. That's another problem I have with video games nowadays too.
Depending on, okay, I'll say it like this. I'm not saying that they do or don't. People are tired. I never said that, but video games have always done that though. They've always made you,
not to that degree of today.
Yeah, but
that's why people complain about Yote. What's that shit called? Ghost of Yote. They're scared. Really, they're scared that they're gonna do that boss. What do you call that boss chick shit? Because it's a female protagonist, which I'm like, I ain't see that yet, and that's bad because they've done it so many times in movies and TV shows and in some video games.
Yeah,
but those are agendas in there.
Yeah, I mean,
especially Sony.
Video games have always been around. Video games have always had a message, right? And people can perceive a message as being an agenda. Like, even if it's a message of like, oh, what's this game? I just bought it. Metaphor. It's a new like RPG from Alice, the people that make Persona.
But that's now, right?
Yeah, they make the Persona.
Go back, because you're saying they always have.
No, listen. So I just saw, because I bought the game, I'm like, dang, like I haven't played a good Persona game in a while. It's been a minute. I'm gonna buy this game. You're gonna have to buy it for Xbox. They didn't have a PlayStation, so I can dust off my Xbox. But I digress. So I bought the game, and I was just kind of reading on the video game, and people made the complaint of this game they're like pushing like an agenda because it's talking about these people being bad, but they said the people that were being bad were the church.
Okay.
But to me,
that's the story though.
Yeah, That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, it's just a story. So in this particular story, maybe the church, they are the bad guys.
Yeah.
You ain't even played the game long enough to find out.
But that's like Resident Evil.
But I feel like you
5.
saw that and you were just like, evil, bad.
But that was the same thing with Resident Evil 5. That one guy, remember that whole, it was racism. It was like, but you ain't say that with Leon. He was just shooting the fuck out of some Spanish niggas. You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, nobody
people
said
just wanted to, people
that.
just wanted to complain.
And that was in the 2010s.
Yeah, they just wanted to complain.
Wait, was it in the 2010s? No, Resident Evil 5 came like, what, 2009, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't even in the 2010s yet. So that's what I'm sitting there saying.
Yeah, because Resident Evil 6 came out like in 2013, 14 maybe. Because it came out on PS3, right? Came out on PS3.
Yeah.
It's like 20.
Well, early 2012. Because Mia was
maybe.
born.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, you know what? Yes, 2012.
It was before Mia was born. I know that. So because that's what I'm saying. They're saying is like that dude did that, but that in that case, that was just a dude just bitching about racism.
But I was reading the comments and people were just letting it be known, letting it be heard, saying that, you know, they shouldn't do this in video games and stuff like that. But it's like, dude, if you look at all the great video games, they all have a little bit of a polarizing like thing. I got you. I'm about to kill what you about to say. Finish what you about to say. No, I'll say most video games have like a bit of a polarizing thing, like something that you will be like, oh man, wait, this person is bad, this is bad. But life is like that. Life is about more like, you know, is about morality. And that's the great thing about video games, because they make you think, they make you feel.
That ain't it though. That ain't what people are saying. That's why I'm not even saying you're not wrong on that. But we're not even on the same subject. What I am saying is the bullshit agendas that people push on us, even on TV shows, social media, movies, all that. Like we all seen the Boss Girl chick. She-Hulk is a great example of that shit. That's the type of shit people are talking about and people complaining about. Like, you know, certain group of people don't like certain things. Why you keep pushing it in our face? You know, okay, for example, like I said, Spider-Man 2 and a side quest with that gay boy and shit like that. I roll my eyes to it, but it's like, whatever, fine. It's a thing. But they didn't put that in the fucking Middle Eastern version of it. So why the fuck we got to endure that? If you're gonna make the same game, but you know them niggas ain't gonna like it, why would you give it to me?
I mean, you know the
majority of people don't like this shit.
You know the obvious reason.
But okay, that's pushing an agenda.
The obvious reason.
That's the point I'm making.
But
because that's a minority group.
But lots of movies and stuff like that,
and people are complaining about that. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But it's been like that since forever. There's certain things that they just won't show overseas that they show here.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But it's like, okay, but you know, also there's a majority group
but they don't necessarily
care about that type of shit. So why would you sit there and have us subject us to that shit, knowing there's a lot of people who do that, and they get mad when we complain? Because Sony just did that too. So with the Ghost of Yote, which I would have never said nothing if I was an executive of Sony. It was like, well, fine, don't buy the game. Like, nigga, don't ever tell nobody that, because they won't. And then you gonna be mad.
Hey, sometimes you gotta stand on what you stand on.
Nigga, don't do that. If I was an executive, I wouldn't say shit. I wouldn't go online and say nothing.
No, and honestly, in all business, you shouldn't say that.
You should shut the fuck up.
But some people just like how you're getting mad about this and like,
I'm not tripping.
You're not getting mad, but you're passionate about what you're talking about.
I just don't like shit that I'm like,
but to me, that mission in Spider-Man didn't mean that did. I'm like, okay, who cares?
Yeah, but it's so exhausting though. That's the point I'm making. That's why people are complaining now, because
that wasn't even exhausting. It wasn't even bad. It was
no, it is exhausting. This is why. Why would you complain about a female protagonist? And it ain't even doing that shit. All you see is a preview of a game. People aren't bitching about it. I'm not. I'm like, I don't see it was a problem. But I was like,
people are gonna complain. No. People just complain for no reason.
No, but there's a reason for this though. Like you right, there are times that there's stupid complaints, and then there's times it's like, oh, I get why, because that I see it, and I also believe there's a gay agenda too. Why? Because they put that shit in cartoons. What the fuck that got to do with children? Leave the children alone. At first, I was like, no, it's no gay agenda, nigga. It is, and yes, there's always these agendas, and people like within it, like. If people wouldn't go on social media who make art, I would never know. But they put that out there in the public to see, and then they translate that shit into the stuff that I gotta consume, which is like, oh shit, I should never bought this shit. And then everybody complains about this shit. And it's like, can you just give me a good story? Just give me a good story.
But why can't that? But why is that not a good story? Why is it not a good story if it goes? If it don't progress, what's the point of it? Even you say that. But so that mission in Spider-Man, how did it not? What was so wrong with that? There was nothing.
It was a side mission, but it was like no, it was not needed. It wasn't even needed.
So don't play it.
I didn't know. So I'm gonna play something I didn't know. I go, hey nigga, this game right here. So if you want to play it, I don't have the choice. I didn't even know until I was in it.
It doesn't matter, dude. There's some
you say
if,
that, but like,
things
dude,
are put
I don't care about.
There's multiple. If you put something into a video game and it just absolutely makes no sense whatsoever, that's like the jiggle graphics on Dead or Alive. Nobody needs a jiggle like that.
I get that.
It is unnecessary. It is.
But even I go, nigga, I just said that shit too like 20 minutes ago.
But you buy every Dead or Alive game, boy.
I never did. Don't lie on me like that. Hold on. First of all, don't lie on me like that. Not on this podcast. You would not. I'm not gonna lie you do that. First and foremost, that's not.
You get bit out of shape.
No, don't say
that's a joke.
I ain't never bought one. Never bought one. Nah, bro. Don't slander my name, my nigga. When we having a good conversation and lie on me, what we not gonna do is that.
Dude,
second of all, I never owned one. I played them.
You played most of the Dead or Alive games.
I only played 2.
You only played 2 Dead or Alive games?
I only played number 2. I never played the first one. I never played the third one.
I thought you played the new one with me.
When?
I don't know when it came out. I thought we played it together.
Probably. I don't know, but I know 2 the most. I played that the most. Yeah. If I did play the third one, I played it one time.
Yeah, dude. This stuff. But so, like, if you're putting this stuff into video,
but look at today's time. That's the
problem is that everybody gets so bit out of shape because you're just like, oh, they're trying to push this, they're trying to push that.
They are.
But 2 things can be true. Sometimes it's just inclusion. It's just in the game, and that's okay. It doesn't hurt anything. It doesn't matter.
Though, but it's too much of a thing in so many different medias. And like when you're trying to escape things, so when you like television or movies or even like video games, and you're trying to escape things, and yet the stuff that you're trying to escape is right in front of you all the time. It's like, God damn, can I not? Because sometimes even like as a black guy, I try to get away from that black shit. And like, why is it in my face? Like I'm trying to escape the shit. So if I can't even escape, then yeah, I'm not to complain now because it's like, dude, what the fuck? Is this again? I'm tired. That's why I'm like, no, I can understand the complaint. Though it's a silly complaint, like, like I said, it goes yo taste shit. I'm like, we don't even know the game yet, but I can understand it. And so that's what I'm saying. People are exhausted of that. I.e., what was that other game? And I own the motherfucking now. I was hating that, man. The Tiny Tina Dungeons and Badasses, I think it's called. The whole him, her shit, the pronouns, no importance whatsoever. And it was in there. No importance whatsoever, and it was in there, bro. And I was just like, oh my God, I just want to fucking play a video game. It was not necessary.
Yeah, you know what? It's important to somebody because they put it in there.
A minority.
It's important to somebody.
It's because it's important. It's important to somebody. It's pandering. It's a agenda.
But you know what, Jeremy?
And it doesn't.
This is where I gotta push back because just because something is popularized, like saying that is an agenda. Just because something is popularized doesn't mean that somebody wholeheartedly just didn't put that in there because they felt that it needed to be put in there. Because there's some people that are going through those things and that identify with that it's nice to see that. It's like for me, I never really saw black characters in video games growing up.
And we did not care.
But I still didn't see it. And it's not that
we didn't care.
But I would have liked to have seen it, but I just never seen it.
But if you cared, then you would have said something, but you don't care.
But what?
Yeah, we were all I like to see $1 million, nigga.
No.
We were all like to see something
that don't make sense.
No, because like we were all like to see.
So how can you invalidate? How can you invalidate how I felt? You can't invalidate it. You can't.
No, I'm just saying. But you didn't care. No, what I'm saying is,
how can you tell me I didn't care?
You didn't say you did.
I've said it to you multiple times.
No, you just said I would like to see it.
I would have liked to
you did not. But you didn't complain. I know you for 20 years. That would not a complaint you made to me. What?
I have. What?
When did you complain about this?
I'm not going to remember the exact day, but I've said that.
I'm just asking when. I didn't say what day.
We've had a conversation, and I've just said we never saw that growing up. It would have been cool to see.
I'm just saying, no, when I'm saying, like, okay, if it was such a big deal, that would have been something we had a conversation about. Like, damn, I would love to see that, but we never had that conversation. We talked. It was in us just talking like how we're talking now. We're not gonna remember every single thing that I said, but I've said that. Well, I'm not saying that.
That's what I've said. I've said that. Like,
okay,
but it's seeing a black character in a video game would have been nice. But I was cool with what I got. Like, hey, I've got these characters. I like these characters. That's cool. But I never saw characters that looked like me. And I was just like, okay, that's just not the story they told. It's not the story they told. But of course, when you get older, and then you hear that, when you hear
it's funny because they actually were a lot of characters that look just like you.
Yeah, but when you hear, but that's not what was pushed to me. I didn't see it.
DJ, Street Fighter, CJ. DJ and CJ is funny.
Okay, 2 characters in the 90s. Okay, what happened? What happened for the rest of my life?
Jax from Mortal Kombat. There's several different characters. You just overlooking those characters.
Yeah, no, it's not that I'm overlooking.
And I know it's a majority.
That's what I'm saying. Like
it's a majority, but you're a minority.
But then when you hear that, oh well, having black characters and certain things, people don't like them being in there because they just don't like to see them. When you hear that, it's discouraging. So it's nice to have. Hey, okay, this character is in this game. You know, they're in the game. They're not just. Now, this is where I have a problem, where it's just picked up and plucked in there, and it doesn't add to any sense, and it's just like, hey, we're putting this in here to appease you
today.
But if you put it into the game, and it just like, for example, Barrett in Final Fantasy VII, his inclusion in the game was great. It wasn't like, hey, I'm the black guy in the game. Hey,
exactly.
Token black guy, put me in here. Woo.
Yeah,
it's not that. It was just that was his inclusion into the game,
but also the times too.
And that was cool to see.
Yeah,
but back then was when they was doing it. They was doing it the most when they didn't want to see certain characters on TV. They didn't want to see them in video game because it didn't sell, and it was about making money.
Shit, actually, it was more about the art back then. Now it's about making money.
No, it was about the money too, brother.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, look what games,
of course,
media is today versus what it was back then. So yeah, it was more of the art.
But I mean, it's about the art now too.
Bullshit.
Do I gotta turn on Dragon Ball? Do I gotta turn on Final Fantasy VII? It's all about the art. What are you talking about?
No, it's not.
These video games
the money, dude. It's about the money. How many games nowadays are more about the money? How many motherfucking transactions you got to make to get a complete game? What are you saying right now?
Hey, they're just.
What are you saying,
dude? These games look great. They're immaculate. It's about the art.
All of them.
Majority of these games.
Those games that look trash today, they look better in 2015.
Majority of these games look great, bro.
And it's like all the money you pay for some stuff. I just complained about Resident Evil 3. My nigga. Don't tell me some shit I know about.
But it still looks great, though. It still looks good. It's still about the art. They put time into it, but they said, hey.
Now I'm going to call you on that. No, they didn't. Because if that's the case, they would have did more to it. They put less.
Nah, I can't. I got to disagree with you.
He didn't even play it. I ain't going to sit there and disagree with you. You don't even touch.
Because it don't take 2 minutes to make a video game. They put time into it. What are you talking about?
You are. I'm going to concede because okay, if you say so. But it's less than the original. How did they put time in it? And they literally just released it the following year.
How long did it take them to make that game?
They said they did the same time as Resident Evil 2. And they did more Resident Evil 2 than they did Resident Evil 3.
How long did it take them to make it?
Well, around the same time. But
how long?
How long? Well, it takes years to make video games, clearly.
That's all I'm saying, Jay, is that they put time into
that's any video game. You got to miss me with that shit. I'm talking about
put time into
Street Fighter 5. We just bitch about that.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, no, they lazy. And then what was that? The other Street Fighter, that Capcom game was that Fighting Evolution, lazily made. You can tell me all the time they take. I mean, you did a good job. You mean you could have done way more better. Now, granted, there's other like fucking things, money, assets, and all that shit. Yeah, you can throw that in there, but like if it's a shit game, it's a shit game. And then you can tell like what's lazily made, what's obviously good made, good game that's made. We see indie games that look better than some of these fucking AAA games.
That's very true.
They have a bigger budget.
That's true.
They actually
but you can be smart,
just like motherfucking.
But you can be just because a game doesn't have to look as okay. Like Final Fantasy VII, and
that's
remake.
So
Final Fantasy VII, the remake, right?
And that's a
beautiful
before COVID.
A beautiful game. Yep, a beautiful game. There's indie games that look really, really good just with the art style that they use. Yeah. I'm just talking about they took the time to make the game. Now, you can be greedy. You can definitely be greedy with your microtransactions, all that. That is a thing. You can be like,
but you're telling me. So remember the conversations about like it's the artistry, and I'm like, no, it's about the money nowadays. Back then, yes, it was the artistry. Clearly, they'll put so much money in the video game. There's one game, I forget the name of it. They do expect I don't know why they spent that much money. $100 million flopped because they were trying to make money. They were trying to do their best to make money, and they failed miserably. They fucking broke them niggas. Your fault.
That's what happened.
And that's what I'm saying. But these niggas now greedy. That's why, like.
But I do a lot of the game. Well, you know what? Maybe I'm speaking for the scope of the games that I play, the games that I choose to play. Because a lot of the games that I choose to play, I have a lot of video games. A lot of the games that I choose to play, they're normally like really good games. I bought 1 or 2 games that are like, matter of fact. God, this ain't even a Capcom episode.
Yeah, well, this part is.
I don't even know what this is. Like games. I bought God Hand for PS5, one of the first games that came out on PS5.
Is that a Capcom game?
I don't know what it is, but it's a piece of trash. I know that much.
Well,
it's not
it
good.
PS5?
Yeah, it's like one of the first games.
A different Capcom game.
It's one of the first games that came out on PS5. One of the first games you could buy. I bought it because it was all you could buy. That Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
You said PS5
and Call of Duty. Game was a piece of trash. It was not good. It just
God Hand, right?
Yeah. It looked.
You sure for the PS5?
No, not God Hand.
I'm about to say that's a Capcom game, right?
Not God Hand.
It came out 06.
Godfall.
Okay. I'm about to say I just heard about this game.
God Hand. I actually want to play. I didn't play that. I was talking about Godfall. I think that's the name of it. It's like a fake God of War. It wasn't good. Yeah, God Hand.
Oh, yeah, I'm about to say no. I just heard about it. I said no, that's a Capcom game. Like you brought us back, baby.
Yeah, no, God Hand. I haven't played. I actually want to play that game. But that game, I was sitting there trying to play it. I tried. I gave it a college try. I was like, yeah, this is like. I'm like, this ain't it. This ain't it. Sometimes you can make a game look great. You can make it look beautiful.
It looks fucking beautiful.
But it just didn't play that well. Like it just wasn't there. That's why like a lot of the games that I pick and that I play, like God of War, for example. Beautiful game. Right. Beautiful story. Just
right.
One of my favorite. Man, these God of War games probably some of my favorite video games ever in life. So great. So good, dude. But to me, going back to what we were talking about as far as like things, agendas, all this stuff in the game, I don't care what you put in the game. You could be he, him, she, her, they, them. I don't care. Yeah. If the game is good and everything goes with the story, I'm cool with it. I don't care. Because
a lot of times
because it doesn't. A lot of things don't have to be, but if it fits, and it's fine. It may not just be. That part may not be for you, but it is what it is on that. But if it fits the story and it fits the game and it's cool in there, hey, it doesn't bother me.
You just go anything. That's what I'm hearing. Because honestly, because I just told you it did not fit. It wasn't even part of like. It was unnecessary. Like when I was talking about.
Oh well, then
it was like it was some
get into the point and like the side quest for Spider-Man. That to me that was cool. I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it not one.
No, and I'm me. But I'm just making a point by saying that.
Yeah, but so Tiny Tina I haven't played, but if they just tossed it in there, then I do have a problem with that because you're inauthentic to what you're trying to portray. So that to me, now that's what I was getting to. I don't like that. If you're inauthentic to what you're trying to let's say if you're trying to put a black character in a video game and you put this black character in there and he is you're fool like this whatever every stereotype of black character could be, but you go like, hey, I'll put this character in and just put him in there. That's trash to me.
Sometimes it happens, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like it happens.
Like I know it happens, but I'm speaking to if you put this into the game and it fits into the game and it's authentic. That's what I'm talking about.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you. A lot of times it's not. Yeah. Of the times we live in, and that's all I was trying to tell you.
Because I've seen
there's times
because even I'm going to use the Spider-Man example too. Like the way they put that in there, that was cool. I was like, okay, that help you more if you want to ask about the problem. I got you.
Yeah.
Well, everybody gets one. Let's go. Yeah. And we did that. It was a cute little mission. I had no problem with that.
But yeah, it's just times it's like, all right, nigga, we could have just done anything else. And I'm not talking about just that one, just other ones. And I'm not saying like I detest those people. First, I don't care. Do you? You know, it's just it's so many different. They call it nuances. It's more of just pissing me off nowadays because nothing changed. It's nothing changed. It's the bully or being bullies in the way I see society. Because even like other things, because we're going way beyond what we're supposed to talk about. It just get exhausting, and that's why I think a lot of people. The times usually I trash people. Let's be honest. And that's a lot of the time. Like, just keep it a $1.50. Like a lot of times, it's just a lot of trash people. But then there are times that it's like, because there's so many people, it's like the trash is in a way, but people got like legitimate complaints and stuff like that. It's like you can't even hear that because all that you see a lot of that trash, and it's like no, they make a good point, but it would never be heard because all the bullshit that we always hear every day from like weirdos and crazies, man. Even I'm to the point I'm exhausted of certain things, and even like at times unnecessary censorships, and I think that's what we got. We started from there. It was like one unnecessary censorships, and then like stuff that's added on there was like that's not necessary either. It's like what are we doing? And he was saying like, well, it was probably cool then, it's not cool now, and it's all like, but it's art, So even with that, like you said, like okay, that's that art. So you're also saying the same thing I'm saying, but on the other side, right? So there are just times it's like certain things just force on us that it's like, damn, it was good before. Why'd you change it? And I guess that's just me on that side of the game. And you're saying on this side of the game to wrap things up on that, right? Like, well, it's just a good story. Why are you tripping on it? And I'm going, was it part of the main story? I get it, but like I said,
but I mean, a side quest is cool. Like that other, that's a side quest, but like you can say it about any side quest because it's not a part of the main story. It's just something you do on the side. So if someone puts something like that in there, it's like I was saying about that video game, because there's so many video games where like the church are the bad guys. Like even like a certain anime is like the church are the bad guys, or the government, like they're the bad guys. They're doing something. The corporations are the bad guys. Yeah. That's an agenda. Like that could be perceived as an agenda. I would say, like if I were to see that in a game, I could say like, oh, you're just trying to tell me that the government's bad. Oh, you're trying to tell me like, this side is bad and that side is bad. Like, no, but sometimes in life, that's what I was saying before, that the good video games to me, like that have a really great story, take a little bit of life and they just make you think about like, oh man, okay, like I could see this happening. I could see that. Oh, it makes you kind of question morality. Cause like, man, what would I do if I was in this person's shoes or if I was in that person's shoes? Like God of War, I love how in the new God of War, this Kratos is totally different than the Kratos in the original God of War.
And it's a add-on because he gets the son.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing about it, is that his son has humbled him I think is the wrong term, maybe? Or you think it is? Is it the right one? It's just
several different things. I would say that being included.
Yeah, but it just made him think like, okay, like I have to approach and do things differently now because, my son isn't me. He's half of me. He's half of mother. He's half of me. She's not here. We're trying to take care of her. So I have to approach things differently. So I love how it made this dude that's he's died, come back. Right. So many times it's made this guy question everything that he's been through for this person. And it's made him look at all the experiences that he's had. Because even when Atreus starts to, go down that Kratos route, and he's going, we're gods. We can do whatever we want. And he kills the other guy. Like, there's so many different... Kratos is like, dang, like, that's what I would have done. But that was my whole entire story. But now I know that isn't the right thing to do. So now we have to go about things in a different way.
But that's a story. See, that's a good story. So what I was talking about, and maybe let me address myself properly on this agenda. I'm just saying, like I said, today's time. Everybody trying to put certain things out constantly.
Yeah, no, but see, I get you.
What you're trying to tell me is people can take it as an agenda. It's like, yeah, true. But you also know, come on now, you also know there's the times that we live in and how people operate, whether it's good or bad, it's just what it is. In this case, what you just told me about God of War, no, that's just a story being told about like we follow that man's journey from God of War 1 all the way down to that one, right? And like we know this man's a killer.
Yeah. Oh no. Well,
I related, and I never played it based on what you told me. I was like, oh, yeah, here's the element, his son.
Yeah, but that well, I was just saying. I mean, I wasn't using that as my example for like church, state, whatever. Right?
You saying,
but but I was just using that, basically saying that that's just an example of how things can change, how things can be different
if you do it that way.
Yeah, but
if you do it,
but I was also using it to say like I love how in that game like it makes you think about morality and things like that. And to me, even if a game had a little bit of an agenda, because Final Fantasy talking about the big bad Final Fantasy VII, big bad corporations ruining everything.
But there's a story too.
Yeah, and there is a story to it. But but that's something that's happened in real life. Yeah. But now you're making me, now I have to use my own brain and think on how these certain things, like how I perceive these things to be. Like, oh, okay, like man, that's deep. Like, this is what's happening there. Okay.
But when it comes to it though, towards where you say these type of things, because it's funny that you name these heavy hitter games and you're making it easy for me for this argument. To me, those stories were told such a way that you gotta throw that I would believe one, I'm gonna say it like that, would toss that other shit aside. Like to get to the meat and potatoes of it. So
I thought someone knocking the door.
You know what I'm saying? Like those stories, and I was like, damn, I ain't gonna tell me these ball ass games. I'm like, oh, that's so easy for me. Because those stories were told such a way and so good. Because they're told stories that like you could, if you really start looking more into it, then yeah, you can look at that way. But really, if the game is that good, or I'm sorry, if the story's that good, you wouldn't even notice it. And that's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm talking about. That's why those games.
But you were saying that, but anybody can look at certain things as an agenda, and I'm going, yeah, if you tell the story right, you won't. Some things is just like, but I also said it's the today's times that we are living in that it's just really just, oh my god, like this again or whatever. It's like it's clearly either pandering or pushing an agenda. It's always something. Why does Netflix have a black section? For a good example, it's pandering. It's obviously pandering. It's not an agenda. It's just pandering, and that's what I'm saying. And I think that's what myself included, and other people complain about. Of course, I don't get a lot like Netflix, I'm like, but nobody's making actual changes. They do stuff to pacify people because some changes ain't being changed.
But very few. But see, this is the problem I have with this, and sometimes I never know how to take this.
All right, but
there's not like. If you look on Netflix, there's other sections. There's other ethnicities and stuff like that have their own sections, and nothing is wrong with that. Right. Like no one says anything about it.
But you want to hear something though?
At least to my knowledge. Sure, what's up?
But when did it start? That's what I'm saying. Look at the times. If those things been a thing prior to now of the black stuff, why did it take so long for us to get some? That's another thing.
It's been on there. No. This ain't new. Like how new are you thinking?
The last couple of years, bro. And what was happening in 2020?
I think it was on there before.
No, it wasn't.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Hulu. Sorry, Hulu's had one. Hulu had one. Netflix, I don't even know, to be honest. Yeah, I was thinking of Hulu. I'm sorry, I'm getting
because even you guys, Dorothy. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I was like, there are things you can clearly see that's pandering to a certain audience, and then or it's pushing some type of agenda, or whether it's social or political. But you got the political side too.
And this is where my confusion comes in, because yes, it came in 2020. We know all the things that happened.
And that's all I'm saying.
Right? But it's like that's something that people probably have wanted. They've wanted, you're like, okay, why can't we have this section for us for our movies, the things that we watch?
I can't even deny or confirm
that. So it's like they wanted this. So it's like, now that you've gotten it, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Or is it inauthentic? Or is it, hey, we're doing this?
If there's proof, I'll say this to answer that question. If there's proof that people have been complaining about it for a hot minute, and how can I say this? Because it's the timing of it. So it's
and I get it. I get what you're saying, because the timing is suspect.
So we've been complaining about this. We got it. People like me, why wasn't this an idea?
But no, I'm gonna give you the time. Now I can give you a time when this designer season is when the stuff with George Floyd happened.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Wait,
I'm trying to think. Was this related to that or what? No, it wasn't related to that. Mm-hmm. But it was like a byproduct of that. Like when they were
shit, we're going over time.
Oh God! So when it was basically they were talking about with the black businesses and stuff like that.
That's what I'm call this episode.
Like stand with black businesses and stuff like that. We're doing this, we're doing that, and everybody was putting the black squares on there. It's like, okay, that's cool, but when you take the square off, what we doing? Are you gonna do something? No. Oh, okay.
You
And
know
some
what that
people,
is? I am showing support.
and some
Not giving support. I am
some
showing
people, and some
support.
people did. So I definitely won't say that because people definitely did. People definitely did support. They supported in ways they donated, things like that.
It's just saying, I'm showing support.
But for me, it's so hard for not just like with issues of race, but like issues with sexuality, things like that. Because a lot of times people are so, they're just what is that word?
Wrapped up in their own world.
No.
Jaded.
No, jaded. They're so jaded to where they just think that, oh, this is parenting, it has to be parenting, but you never look to see if something is on.
But I mean, okay.
But
look at history. That's why, and it's so easy for me to answer that question. Sometimes, yeah, there are jaded people. I believe I'm starting to become that because I'm like, this been said a billion times, and all of a sudden, like. Political game, we see it every 4 years. One,
of course.
And then we see like what just happened recently. Really, it's funny within that same time. This is the thing. And then you see like nobody cares about us until they want something from us, and that's the truth. And the more I see it all the time. That's why it's so easily jaded.
Now those are facts.
Because when it comes to black people,
but there's just certain people. And not just black people, and not just black people. People like of other different races and stuff like that. When they're telling their stories or they're showing support or they're doing something, I just personally try not to go in it with that jaded mindset, mind like going in with that jaded mind.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see for myself. If I can sense something being inauthentic, I'm like, okay, I'm not getting behind this. But if somebody's doing something genuinely, then it's like, okay, but I just don't approach everything that way.
You know why it's so easy to do that though too? And I'm gonna tell you, I've seen this before. You know the detriment of black people? We too forgiving. And that's our problem. I'm not gonna lie to you, that is our problem. I can't stand seeing so many mothers who are like, I forgive those men who killed my son. I'm like, that is a problem. I'm like, oh, all they're gonna do is forgive us. Or so many black folks, oh, I'm Democrat or whatever, because like that's the thing to do. Give us nothing. It's what you feel
you have to do.
It's so many people
because you just been programmed and told to do that.
And it's so many times Jaguar White said the perfect thing back about the civil rights movement. The movement was great. The problem is they was trying to integrate, which is a mistake, and I agree. We should ask for sovereignty. And I agree with that 100%. Don't fuck with me. That's why I told you before. I said segregation wasn't a problem. Discrimination was. You have your shit, I have my shit. We ain't got to fuck with each other. Period. And I always say that. That's our biggest problem. But another the one before that is we don't get along. That's our biggest problem. We don't get along. And we let the wrong people in constantly because we're so forgiving, but we don't forgive each other. That's our biggest problem. And everybody knows that. Everybody around us see this shit. And that's why we always on the bottom of the totem pole, if we even on the totem pole, as a race. That's easy. And it's like, we'll never get it. I know. I'm so defeated. And that's why it's so easy to be jaded, because it's like, oh, niggas will never get along. They're comfortable with the bullshit they get. Slavery all over again. History is literally repeating itself. We just don't say it that way. It's that easy.
Yeah.
It's that easy. I study this stuff all the time. I'm watching every little bit, and that's why I talk such a way. This is a weird episode.
It's very weird. It's very weird. This went left, right, up, down, A start.
It went from video games to social talk.
Yeah.